I too would like to welcome the Minister to the House this evening, and I'd like to particularly pay tribute to Senator Mary-Louise O'Donnell for bringing forward this extremely important motion to the House this evening. I too am delighted that the counter-motion has been withdrawn. I felt that this is an extremely important motion and something that we are all basically in agreement with, and I'm delighted that, as I said, that the counter-motion was withdrawn, because I think it's too important a motion, and I think we're all in agreement with it. It's something that's going to happen every single one of us. I'd like to welcome Angela Edgehill here this evening from the Irish Hospice Foundation, and others that are there as well. I came to meet Angela last year through the work with Think Ahead, and I would like to think that I've worked closely with her on some of the areas and got to know a lot about the Think Ahead project and the work that they do, the excellent work that they do. Minister, if I could just ask you, just looking on some of the details that we looked at last year, where they on one of the briefing documents that they had, I know I was very concerned when I read that 16 counties in Ireland have no access to hospice beds, and I would just like to ask you, has that improved this year? Is that something that has improved? And also on the numbers of patients who unfortunately are denied admission to hospice beds every year. I believe the number was in almost 2,500, 2,470 last year. And just to ask you, are we moving in the right way? Has that improved this year? If I could, I would just like to maybe delve, and I know that others have talked about the Think Ahead project, but our initiative. I would just like to pay particular tribute. This is an excellent briefing document. When we're talking about an excellent way, a report going of the way that the proposals are, that we introduce something that everybody in the country has access to it. This is definitely, in my opinion, this is the way to go. I actually had some of these in my office last year, and people who came in, it was a subject that I would bring up with them, and I'd say, well, here, look, take this with you. I mean, we all know, it's something that can happen, and some of us might get preparation for it. Others, as we even in this House know only too well, we can be struck down, in a matter of minutes our lives can change. And I think it's very important that for those that are caring for us and those that are going to be left behind or whatever, that they know what our wishes are and what preparations we can do. So as I said, I've kind of discussed it with other people. I've been involved with briefing sessions. I've gone to some of the briefing sessions, and also I've never met one person who's kind of said, that's too morbid, I don't want to talk about that, or I don't. And, as I said, it provides the key information, what we can do, what we can, inform us about the care and the treatment. It also goes into the care preferences, how we want to be cared for. I mean, even in our own families, we'll have people who'll say, well, I want to be cared in hospital. Others will say, I want to be taken home. I want to know. So what are our cultural, our religious preferences? Again, very importantly, from the legal point of view, from the financial point of view, and then when we die, what do we want? What kind of a service do we want? Even down to the readings. And I know when I discussed it first, even with Angela, I was kind of saying, it's a topic, that, do we want, or do we kind of, want to talk about it? But it is something that has to be talked about in terms of organ and body donation, the post-mortems. Very importantly as well, I think, is where to find the important documents. I know, and I will say it now, I'm probably the world's worst for where policies are. I'm great at having them, but if somebody was to say to me, where are they? And that can be something that can be very important when somebody dies and they've only got a single current account or whatever. They don't have a joint account, as can very often happen in houses where the main breadwinner passes away and the other person then doesn't know where to access all the documents. And this very, very simply goes through this is an example of the form, and it goes through every single part of it about what you want, what your wishes are for what comes in. And I know it is a very, very sad topic, but if I could just kind of even but bring it to a lighter tone. As I said, I know that when I brought this home, and I actually, after I'd read through it myself, and I said to my own children, now this is it, and I'm going to fill this in now, and we're going to look at this. And it actually, still to this day, has become one of the biggest laughing points. And every time I do something that annoys the children, they say, well, that's it, we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. And like, even down to, and I'm saying this even as a former music teacher, and I would very often play at funerals, and I know how important music is at funerals for the family and for the people. And it can be very important that we pick the appropriate hymns and the appropriate music and the appropriate readings that people like to have, to show our respect for them. But I know, just even it came up, and I hope I don't mean any disrespect or anything, but I know that we were talking about it at home, and I said, and some of them, my kids were saying to me, I don't want to talk about that, I don't, we're not talking about that. And I said, no, but look, well, what music or what song will I have? And one of them said to me, well, I know when at the very end of the Mass we'll have Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, So I said, I know it's and as I said, it's just bringing a light-hearted touch, but it is something that makes us think, makes us talk, and it's something that we kind of say, well, look, if we can bring a bit of humour into it, or if we can, bring something that is not the serious subject that we have, but that we get people thinking about the afterlife and about death. Thank you.